What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video, and I know May has been skimpy with the videos, you guys. People have literally been booking the same thing. Like, I will have days where all day long it's the exact same thing, all right? So forgive me for that. Today I want to talk to you guys about something very important, which is how to navigate doing recreations or using inspiration pics. That seems to be something that people are struggling with, so we're gonna get into it today. Of course, you guys, description has all my links, Amazon storefront. Follow me on social media. I'm in Sacramento, California. A lot of people think I'm in the South or on the East Coast. I'm not. So subscribe, turn on notifications. If you want to book with me, please do not hesitate to do so. If you are in the Sacramento area or in a radius of, typically people don't drive more than 3 hours to see me, but just know I'm an actual real nail tech that does nails in real life, and I take clients, like for real. All right. So, okay. First things first, when a client comes to you and they are probably going to show you a picture and say, I want this. So immediately, typically I will kind of be like, can I see the phone? You want to zoom in on details so you can identify exactly what type of set this is, because a lot of times clients might just say, I want ombre, I want French tip, and it might not be the exact language that you need to identify what type of set it is. So zoom in, look at, okay, how can I do this with what I have? Because this is a different nail tech with different work. So we already identified a background color, which is fine. Obviously it's not this particular color, doesn't matter. I did identify, okay, this is gonna be a design with polish. Okay, this is an abstract French tip. I don't have this particular shade of gold used to outline, but I do have something. Once we both agree, okay, good. Then we're gonna go ahead and start. The biggest thing is that people get so caught up in, I don't have exactly what's in this picture, that sometimes either people are going to go out of their way to go buy that stuff, which you should not. Honestly, you should never ever buy things in advance for clients, because clients change their mind all the time. People cancel, people reschedule, and you are stuck with shit that you are not going to be using. Or people freak out and think like, wow, I don't know how to do this, so what are we going to do? Okay, and that's how clients' expectations are not managed, so they end up disappointed. And then you have nail techs that are using the excuse, well, I'm not that nail tech, blah blah blah. I want to break you guys out of the habit, or those of you who are kind of those type of nail techs that, hey, this is why it didn't come out like this. We shouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, they're coming to you because they like your work and they think, hey, they can do this design. So of course, before any nail art, I always top coat after the whole filing process, because for me personally, I can draw way smoother on top of top coat. I don't like how it feels on top of regular acrylic. Doesn't matter how much I buffed. I just don't like it. All right. And then we're going to get prepared for the actual design. So like I said, up to this point, while we're prepping and doing that whole thing, we should have already discussed color palette, design. Hey, this is how I'm thinking of doing this. And that's when your client should have already okayed the process. Now, they may not know exactly what you're talking about, but you should be able to break down exactly what's going to happen, so that way you can continue to manage expectations, so that they know, hey, I can do this design, but it's kind of going to be more of my interpretation, right? Because as you can see, based on the inspiration pic, the nails that I did for her did not look like that at all. Right? So based on what I saw in the picture, I saw this is a version of a French tip. So for me personally, the best way I felt like I could achieve that is to go ahead and find like a middle ground. So I went ahead and acted like I was going to draw a French tip. I just did a rough smile line, just so that way I know, okay, if I go ahead and draw all those wonky lines, they may intersect and they may not come out exactly how I want them to. Now, once I see the inspo pic in the beginning, typically I don't ask for it again, just because I do nails so much that once I identify like, okay, that's a glitter ombre, oh, that's a French tip. Once I identify what it is, then at that point, I'm going to do it in my own style. You see what I'm saying? So when someone gives you a picture for reference, you don't have to freak out and look at every little detail and copy it the same, because then now all you're doing is copying someone's work rather than giving a client an interpretation of like, this is that style, but this isn't my way that I work. You see what I'm saying? So for me personally, based on what I identified from the picture, I thought, okay, let me go ahead and find a center with this smile line, because although the design was more towards the tip, to me personally, I felt it would be more flattering if you see it go up as a French tip still would. So then this is the part where I was thinking, well, I don't want to cure this because then it's going to give me issues later on. That's going to be a pain because I have all these, little splits I need to do. So I thought to myself, I'm going to keep it wet, and I'm just going to draw some areas of, I'm just going to color in certain areas of the French tip, and later on I will use my cleanup brush to kind of cause negative space, make negative space, so that way that will be the split. So my client was like, you know what, that's really smart. Typically for me personally, I'm gonna talk out loud and explain a little bit what I'm gonna do, because there's some people that don't trust the process. Some people are very scarred from nail shops or whatever. It's pretty annoying. I try not to get too irritated, but I find that explaining the process as I go, even though it sounds like I'm talking to myself, it kind of calms people down. Most people aren't really watching me too closely when I do their nails because they do trust me, but this might be a tactic that helps you as a nail tech, so that way you don't feel like a client is dissatisfied, and you will know. Oops, my laptop's slipping all over the place. Oh goodness. Oh, okay, I see. That's as far as it goes. So you will know exactly, as you go, are they happy or are they not? The biggest thing that, to me, from what I see, that people seem scared of on interpretations, or I guess a recreation, whatever you want to call it, is people want to get it so close and exact to the picture. But to be honest with you, that's not exactly what clients are looking for. And to be honest, they don't actually care that much. That's more so of an online Instagram thing for nail techs to be able to say, look how great I matched this picture. And if you really want to think about it, so many people are so used to just copy and paste all the time that there's a lot of nail techs that honestly have trouble and struggle with the idea of doing anything outside of a picture. Which is why I always say, being able to use your critical thinking skills is going to help you so much and going to take you so far, because you're going to be able to say, hey, I can break down each element of this set and identify what do I personally do to get those type of look. So everything is still wet because I said to myself, well, I absolutely can't cure it. I need to go ahead and just make very small slits so I can do what I need to do. So as you can see, I'm using a cleanup brush. This is a Mia Secret number 6 brush. I get it from the nail supply store. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or something like that. If I do happen to find it, I'll add it to my Amazon storefront. So at this point, I made a slit, and then I thought to myself, I'm just going to create some waves there. Now, as you can see, my waves and things are not the same as in that picture. That picture has maybe a nail that has an extra slit, so it's a little bit more negative space. But for me personally, as soon as I started to do this, the client was like, wow, I really love this. So I took that as, okay, she likes this particular way that I'm doing it. I wasn't exactly sure how it would look on all 10 nails, but I felt like it looked really good, and she verbally expressed to me that she likes how it is. Like I said, once I identified what the type of set was, from the beginning, we never looked back at the inspo pic, because there's no need, because she comes to me because she likes how I do nail art, and she wanted my interpretation of that particular type of set. You see what I'm saying? So I know there's probably going to be people that's like, oh, well, some people want exactly that set. And you are correct. But you still need to manage their expectations and telling them, hey, I'm not her. I do things differently. So of course I don't mind trying to get closer to the picture, but just know, just because of our different styles and techniques, things are going to be different regardless. Now, that is not an excuse as to why your work is sloppy, or just not good, or doesn't last, or is just visibly not aesthetic. That excuse doesn't work. Okay, you can't, if your work just doesn't, if something just looks off or not right all around, there's not really the excuse of, oh, well, I'm not that nail tech, so things don't look the same. Now, you can tell someone, hey, I'm a beginner, or hey, this is not my strong suit, so that they're prepared that way, and maybe they won't mind if something does not look all the way together, or maybe things are missing on that aspect, because, I'm not saying that to be rude or mean. Like I say, every advice that I give is because I went through it. And that's just what it is, So when I say that, it's because I was that person constantly trying to manage people's expectations, because I know that I'm new, and I don't want to give anyone no type of reason to come back and bite me in the ass because it doesn't look like someone else's picture. You get what I'm saying? So at this point, you guys can see we're pretty calm. This client has been to me a couple times already, so at this point she's solidifying herself as a regular. And so at this point, we're kind of just talking and we're really just chilling. And both of us are kind of expressing like, you know what, this is really cute, right? So you guys see I have the gold out, and obviously we were gonna outline the white in the gold, but she also once again expressed, I like this really a lot without the gold. So at that point I said, okay, for sure, we don't have to do the gold if that's not what you're into. And she said, yeah, let's just keep it this way. And she said, I like this way so much better, and I feel like this looks better than the picture. Now, of course, everyone here is gonna have different opinions, but the client liked exactly what this is. So that's why I'm doing this video, to tell you guys that sometimes it's not about matching the person's work. Sometimes, you know, clients just don't know what to get, so they're just providing you an example. And when they say, oh, I want something like this, please talk to your clients and say, okay, this is your set that you're leaning towards. You know, what about this do you like? Do you want this type of set similar with similar colors? And provide them options like, hey, you know, it doesn't have to be this color. Is there a color that you're interested in? Or is this the palette you want to go to? Ask stuff like that, because once they start thinking, then now we're customizing the set. So now we're using that picture as like a base, and we're going in and we're adding our own elements. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get your work to look like your work, rather than, oh, I saw this on Instagram the other day. That's what we want to kind of get out of, because a lot of clients, you know, they kind of, I ask questions, y'all know, I'm the type of nail tech that's like, did you have a good, you know, past experiences? What were things like before? Blah, blah, blah. How do you find a nail tech? Especially when people are new, you know, that's the easiest conversation to make. And so a lot of people will say, you know, sometimes when they see a lot of techs doing the same sets or using the same inspo pics, it kind of, I don't want to say deters them from booking, but sometimes they look at it as, okay, maybe this particular nail tech is not very creative, or maybe this nail tech just would rather do sets that other people have done. Like sometimes in certain clients, it can put off a signal of, hey, maybe I shouldn't book because this person only knows how to do certain stuff, you know? So don't be afraid to suggest things to your client, and do not be afraid to tell them if something is your strong suit or isn't. Either way, we gotta manage their expectations, so that way when we're using inspirational pictures and things like that, they're not expecting a smack copy. A smack copy, that's not even a real thing. They're not you know what I'm saying? Like, because they're not looking for an exact replica, which honestly, if you ask people, most clients will tell you that. Now, I will say, most clients who are looking for an exact replica, like I want it exactly like this, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes they tend to be a little bit more difficult of client, just because, you know, they probably either used to go to a nail shop, or they are just very set on a particular thing. And when there's no wiggle room, sometimes that can cause for a little bit of friction. So in that particular regard, if they do like use the words, I want this exact set, because I've had people that one by one, they want to show me each exact nail as I'm doing the nail to make sure it looks right. And it is okay to tell your client, hey, I want you to know I do use different techniques than that person. I'm going to do my best to get you the end result that you like. But at the same time, this is kind of slowing the process down when you kind of over me trying to go nail by nail. You know, it's as simple as that. It may or may not work. You may or may not see them again. But either way, I hope that is an extra piece of advice to help you there. So I know I've been running my yap for 14 minutes straight. I really hope this video helps you guys. I appreciate y'all's support. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. Today's actually my 4-year anniversary of being a licensed nail tech. So I appreciate y'all's support. And of course, I will see y'all in the next video.